Welcome to Tales of Terror, the channel that brings you horrific stories from all over the world. If you're a fan of horror and suspense, be sure to subscribe and leave your opinion in the comments. Today's story takes us to a hospital where a 10-year-old boy named Bill is admitted. But his stay there turns into a nightmare as he encounters a series of unusual events. With a large number of sick hospital staff and frequent fires breaking out in the wards, Bill's condition worsens. But what caused all this chaos? It all starts with a shocking discovery in Bill's past. A discovery that leaves you on the edge of your seat. So sit back, grab a blanket, and prepare to be spooked by this terrifying tale. The story begins when a child arrives at the hospital and encounters a series of unusual events due to the large number of hospital staff who have fallen ill and the frequent fires that break out in the wards. 10-year-old Bill suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder, but his condition does not require him to be confined to a mental institution. When I discovered this, I asked to see his case file. I retreated to my office and closed the door tightly, knowing that the director of the institution flatly denied that Bill's file was in the possession of another doctor. I still don't understand why. I opened the file and quietly began to read it.
On July 2nd, 2012, police found a body buried inside the wall of Bill's room in his home.
The body had been there for several months, and after an extensive forensic investigation, it was identified as that of a 23-year-old woman. The police began to search the area, as there were many reports of missing girls at the time, and the discovery of the body raises suspicions throughout Bill's house, with his father being the first suspect. After hours of searching, it came to 72 hours when police discovered 13 dead bodies around Bill's home. Curiously, each body was buried 4 meters away from the next, in a large circle around the house. The case received public attention and the attention of government officials who were keen to uncover the truth. At that time, many ancient Latin hieroglyphs, riddles were found on the walls of the basement. After a few hours, a translator managed to decipher the words, and while he was reading the last message, he leaned towards a corner in the cellar and whispered in a strange voice, "There is something buried under the ground." They started digging in that corner, and the hole was 7 meters deep. After hours of continuous digging, one of the workers suddenly exclaimed, "I found something." A mob of police officers attempted to exhume the buried body, a coffin covered with thick black goat fur that weighed considerably less. The arduous task of cutting the furs caused suffering and bewilderment among the spectators who were left speechless at the sight of what was revealed inside the furs, the bodies of 5 children. Around their necks were many small snakes wriggling, feeding on the remains of the unfortunate children. Eerily, the bodies were marked with some symbol similar to those on the wall. Suddenly, the officers noticed a strong tremor that shook the dwelling, after which it collapsed on all those present except for a soldier who hastily fled and later revealed the written account of the incident. It is remarkable that no bodies were found under the rubble, as if the earth had swallowed them whole. At that juncture, all suspicions and accusations centered around Bill's father, who confessed to being involved in black magic and causing the deaths of all dead bodies, including innocent children. As a result, he was sentenced to death, and the press reported the case widely, effectively closing it.
On the 8th of November, 2012, Bill was admitted to a clinic after suffering several traumas that weakened his mental health, leaving him speechless and causing communication difficulties.
Reviewing the file, I found myself at a loss as to who had brought Bill into the clinic and why they had agreed to put him with other patients. There was something strange going on that I couldn't fully understand. I decided to go to the ward where Bill was. Entering the ward where the patients are housed, she notices Bill sitting on his bed, staring through a hole in the ceiling as if he was completely cut off from the rest of the world. The other patients seemed to be turning away from him, as if afraid to approach him. Confused by their behavior, I decided to talk to one of them. Harry, a 27-year-old man struggling with drug addiction and its psychological effects, was the only one who could communicate with Bill effectively. I asked him what was going on lately. He pleaded with me, "Doctor, please, I have asked you several times to take me out of this room. Put me in a room alone, in any room, but not here. You don't know what happens at night." I assured him, "I want to know everything. I promise I will move you to another room." "There is something fishy about this kid," Harry whispered, looking at Bill. "He's very intelligent for his age, and his voice isn't a child's voice at all. It's unsettling." I asked Harry, "Is Bill communicating with you, Harry?" Harry replied, "Yes, but only at night. He walks around the ward in a circle, speaking in a treacherous voice, then starts screaming and shaking unnaturally, continuing to mutter." I interrupted Harry and asked him, "You are talking about what?" "I'm afraid to tell you, Doctor," replied Harry. I assured him of that. "Just tell me, Harry," he said. "Nothing will happen." "He's consulting about the bed in this far corner," said Harry. "Isn't this Jack's bed? Where did he go?" "Jack disappeared last night, Doctor," Harry said with fear in his eyes. "Nobody knows where he went." I said, "Okay, Harry. Try to stay with the others, and I'll apply to be moved to another ward." "Please, Doctor, quickly," said Harry. When I looked at Harry, I saw fear and terror in his eyes. His hands were trembling, his face was pale, his eyes were shining, his teeth were gnashing. This was more than just fear. There was something serious going on in this ward, and Jack's disappearance made it even more suspicious. After checking cameras throughout the sanitarium, there was no sign of Jack leaving the ward. The last time he was shown to his bed, the cameras went down after midnight. When it was repaired, Jack could not be found. Time is of the essence, and there is no time to lose. I must report this to the police. After an hour of calling the police about the situation, I spoke with an officer who took a keen interest in my account and was convinced something was wrong. A thorough investigation took place at the sanitarium, focusing on the ward where Belle was being held in isolation. The police dogs led us to a wall behind an empty bed in the ward, which upon further inspection revealed a deep hole containing 4 bodies, including those of the nurses and Jack, whose body was hidden there. The bodies were found branded with the drawings and talismans mentioned in the report. It was clear that a dark secret was being kept, involving Belle and the hospital administrator, who refused to divulge any information about the child. Through our investigation, we discover a connection between the hospital director and Bill's father. Before his execution, Belle's father sent a handwritten note to the principal asking for a favor. The note reads, "Dear friend, I know I have done you many favors, including helping you get rid of your wife and inherit millions. Now, I want you to take care of something important. My son, Bill, will be alone after my execution. The outside world will not understand his needs, but he's not just a kid. Bill has a powerful demon spirit, and to keep you safe, you must give him regular offerings to quell his anger. You won't feel anything strange if you do, but if you don't, disasters will happen and you'll be the first to get hurt." This revelation confirmed that there was indeed something sinister at play, and that the hospital administrator was complicit in the deaths of the nurses and Jack. The investigation was ongoing. As the days passed, the truth became more and more clear. The director of the clinic knew about the danger of this entity's presence among the patients, but he allowed him to stay. It was as if he was comfortable with her presence. After the accident and the discovery of the handwritten letter, The director is arrested and Bill is taken to a larger, safer sanitarium, away from the other patients. All records have been closed and life has returned to normal. But why am I telling this story now? When I tell this story, I tremble with fear, and it is difficult for me to swallow my saliva. Today I received a call from the ministry telling me that I will be transferred to another clinic. The horror lies in the fact that the clinic they are sending me to is the same clinic where Bill is currently staying. I feel like a curse that will follow me for the rest of my life. Today's story is over. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And see you tomorrow with a new, even scarier story. Goodbye.